Today we're doing math pages 105 and 106. Colossians 1:13 through 14 says, "He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of His beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins." We'll go ahead and look at our class practice. We're working on common factors. 1a. The directions told us to find the common factors. 1a, we have the number 9, and they're asking for pairs of factors for 9. The first and easiest is always the 1 times the number, 1 times 9. And there's one more for 9, it'd be 3 times 3. So our factors, then, for 9 would be 1, 3, 9. Okay, let's look at 12 now. It'd be 1 times 12, the easiest. Now, 12 ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8 ends in a 2. So 2 goes in it. 2 times 6. And also 3 times 4. So our factors for 12 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And then our common factors of 9 and 12 would be 1 and 3. And if I was to ask you what is the greatest common factor, you'd say 3. Okay, let's look at B now. Well, of course, the first one, the easiest, would be 1 times 15. And then also 3 times 5. And then our factors for 15 would be 1, 3, 5, 15. For 20, we have 1 times 20. Now, 20 ends in a 0. Remember, if it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then we know 2 goes in it. 2 times 10. And 4 times 5. And so our factors would be 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. And our common factors would be 1 and 5. And if I were to ask you what is the greatest common factor, the GCF, it would be 5. C. We have the number 8, so 1 and 8. 1 times 8. And then if it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, we know 2 goes in it. Ends in an 8. 2 times 4. And so our factors would be 1, 2, 4, and 8. 12. 1 times 12. If it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, 2 goes in it. Ends in a 2. 2 times 6. and then 3 times 4. And so our factors would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And then our common factors of 8 and 12 would be 1, 2, and 4. If I were to ask you what the GCF is, you would say 4, because 4 is the biggest number that they have in common. Number 2 says to give any two numbers that contain each common factor. So we need to write two numbers that have 4 as a common factor. Well, I know that 4 goes into 12, and 4 also goes into 16, so that would be a common factor of both of those. B, for 3, what's two numbers that 3 goes into both of those two numbers? I know 3 goes into 18, I know 3 goes into 12. So there's different ones that you could put down. I'll let you do C and D on your own. And you guys will actually do the rest on your own, but I want to show you something to help you finish what you're working on here. So here's a map of the world. Giant world map here. And our world is divided by the different continents. So you have North America, and you have South America. You have Antarctica. You have Africa. You have Europe. You have Asia. And you have Australia. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different continents. We also have, in our world, we have 4 different major oceans. We have the Pacific Ocean. Woo! We have the Atlantic Ocean. We have the Indian Ocean. And then at the top, not even on my screen, is the Arctic Ocean. I want to go back though and tell you something specific about the continents that's kind of interesting. So each continent, the letter that it starts with, it also ends with. So what I mean is you have, I'll say North. It starts with an A, America. And it ends with an A. Starts with an A, and it also ends with an A. Let me show you better what I mean by this. North America starts with an A, ends with an A, and same with South America. Look at all the continents do this. Antarctica starts with an A, ends with an A. Europe starts with an E, ends with an E. Asia starts with an A, ends with an A. Australia starts with an A, ends with an A. And Africa starts with an A, ends with an A. Now they're all A's except for Europe. Kind of interesting. Go ahead and finish the rest on your own. You can do it. You guys are so smart.